Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, and wherever you're listening. Joined with me this week, Mr. Chris Cute.
How you doing, guys?
Jamie Page.
Hello.
And because Joe's feeling a little bit under the weather this week, apparently, although I suspect he's probably got a hot date, we've got Chad in to help steer this train wreck on course. Hi, Chad. How you getting on?
All right, am ya? For those who never understood it previously.
Are you sure that's not actually Joe? He may have reached puberty finally and grown a beard.
Definitely a lot better looking than Joe is. Right, well that's me. I've got no idea what's going on now. So this week's you probably do a better job, actually, to be fair. This week's shout outs and thank yous very quickly go to Jim Dockrell, Carol Kolanowski over at KK Mick, Cross with Ellen, Norbury 53, and Andrew McQuillan. Also, a big shout out to all the live listeners this week and to anyone who's been getting in touch via our Facebook group, across the website, and on all those other good places, because genuinely we do like that. Don't forget you can listen over on SoundCloud and iTunes and all those good places as well. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the Wood Turners Abrasive Paste, and also, being you're with us, Chad, do you want to introduce yourself and your website and all that? Because you are still giving away one of your awesome mugs.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. So most people know me that are watching this because I've been doing this for a while, but it's Mancrafting, for those who don't know. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I do now have the URL mancrafting.net, or I like to make cups.com.
That's a cool website. I think everyone should go there. I like to make cups.com. If you want to know, of course, anything about other sponsors or even be a sponsor potentially, don't forget you can visit our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. I'm not sure if we have a random listener question this week. We'll probably get loads because this is going to be one of our random episodes, I suspect. But Chris, is there something going on with a question that
yes.
about?
Well, because we haven't given away one of Chad's awesome cups this month yet, and since we have Chad with us, I figured we should give away a cup today. And it's to our live audience here, so if you're listening to this podcast on Wednesday or afterwards, sorry, you're not eligible to win it because somebody today is going to win this in the chat. And considering the history of our trivia questions, lasting a total of maybe 15 seconds before one of the answers, and before somebody gets the answer, we tried to make it difficult this week. So get your thinking caps on, folk. Here comes the question. And this is according to the documentary series on television titled Modern Marvels, okay? So I take no responsibility for the authentication of how correct these answers are, but I'm just going to give you what they say, all right? Here's the question. The question is, when we're going to give you number 1, you have to come up with number 2 and number 3. What were the first 3 power tools introduced to the public for them to go out and purchase? Power tools meaning tools that had a cord that you plugged into an electric outlet, okay? Number 1, and I'll give you the history on this because I've got history on all 3 of them. Number 1 was the quartered drill. Most people probably already knew that one anyway. It was introduced by a company called C&E Fine in German, and it's actually was a German engineering firm back in the day. But Black & Decker came along in 1916 and created the pistol grip drill that we all know and love today. So number 1 was the power drill. The question that you have to answer and answer correctly in the correct order is, what was number 2 and what was number 3 to be introduced to the public? And you can Google that all you want, but I guarantee you won't get the correct answer because I've already done this to make sure that it was hard. So the question for you today for a Mancrafting mug: what was the first 3 power tools ever introduced to the American or international public for them to go out and purchase and own on their own as DIYers?
And I shall be watching the chat as we go on with the show.
I was fully expecting you to say, we've already got a winner.
No. There's not a winner.
Okay, guys, when you're answering this, the first answer you give, we're going to assume is number 2, and the second answer you give, we're going to assume is the number 3 on your choice. And so far, nobody has gotten either number 1 or number 2 or number 3 correct.
Yeah.
So
Just
we're going to
throw our tool names out there if in doubt.
we'll let that roll. And Jimmy, you're keeping an eye on the chat, right?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it.
Excellent. So,
Someone's got it.
No way.
Hold on.
No.
Andy Pugh.
Andy Pugh. Gee,
Hold on. He got the last 2.
holy crap. How long did that take? Did that even take 15 seconds?
Andy Pugh got router and scroll saw.
All right.
But
Here's
hold on.
No, he
Did
got
they,
it.
did they have to guess the first one too?
No, well,
We gave him the first one.
which was the
Okay,
drill.
sorry.
All right, number
got
2. I'll give you the background on this so that people don't think I'm just pulling these answers out of my own rear end. According to the show Modern Marvels, number 2 was the router. It was introduced 3 years after Black & Decker's drill by a gentleman named R.L. Carter. He introduced, so the router was the second power tool that was available to the homeowners of the world. Number 3 was the scroll saw, and it was invented by a gentleman named Herbert Tots in 1923. Tots' company, well, this will be a little, we don't have a prize for it, but if you guys want to answer this question, I'll give you a little side trivia about this. Herbert Tots' company started out of his garage, but it later became known as the company we know today as what? If you want to go ahead and try to figure out who Herbert Tots' garage company ended up becoming, the company is alive and well today. So if you want to take a shot at answering that, go for it.
Andy, if you want to message me on Facebook with your address, I'll ship the cup out to you.
That was shoot the cup out.
Unless, of course, you're going to Maker Central, we'll bring it to you personally.
Unless you're coming to Maker Central, I'll hand it to you personally.
You could have it like properly. Chad, you could do like a proper presentation. We could have like a little mini ceremony. And,
like a ribbon cutting?
Yeah.
Changing of the guards, Buckingham Palace.
That'd work. We could do something like that then.
Nope. Pete, it wasn't Bosch. It's an American company. I'll give you that. Herbert Tots' company that he started in his garage is an American company. Or at least it once was. The tools are probably now made in China like everybody else's, but to begin with, it was an American company.
Was it Orida?
No, it wasn't Orida. No, it was a tool company, and you guys know it today. I'll give you a hint. This company was famous for a long time back in the day for the quality of the table saws that they made.
They do aeroplanes now as well.
Yep, Delta. Andy got it. Andy got that one too. It is indeed Delta. Delta is the inventor of the first scroll saw, courtesy of a gentleman named Herbert Tots. So, I mean, but you know what, Jamie? You know, the router was invented in 1919, and the scroll saw wasn't invented till 1923. So,
well, you have to make mistakes before you get perfection. So,
actually, I was looking at it as being it's always going to be 4 years behind. But but okay.
The guy started with doing the scroll saw stuff. It just took him 4 years to finish it.
It depends on your perspective, I guess. And I'm seeing it my way. You can see it yours if you'd rather. It's fine.
So, what now we've got our 15-second question out of the way. What are we actually talking about tonight? Has anyone got anything they actually want to bring up?
We could actually go over Maker Central and what we plan on doing there, because we have a number of things that we're hoping to get lined up, and one thing that we certainly do have lined up already. So if you want to hop into that, we could do it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's a shame that Joe's not here, because he basically set all this up with the t-shirts and whatnot. I'm sure everybody knows about Team Scroll Saw and Team Router t-shirts. So we've actually reached the threshold now for the minimum purchase for the campaign to go ahead. So if you have ordered a t-shirt, that will arrive, and you've probably been charged for it already. I know I have.
and me.
So that's I'm glad, because I'm really looking forward to meeting people and saying basically, yeah.
And that campaign, I think, goes on. So that it ends on was it April 8th, Jamie?
I believe so. Yeah.
So you've got if you haven't got a t-shirt yet, you've got 2 weeks to grab one. But after that 2 weeks is up, the campaign ends, and they're not going to be available. So it's just a very limited run, and we're doing it only for Maker Central.
purely for
I
that.
have a
And,
quick question. Will they be delivered in time to bring them to Maker Central?
Yes, they should.
They should. Yeah, that's why we're running it now rather than beforehand.
That's why the cutoff is April 8th, and because we don't want to run it longer than that.
And then basically what happens is once you've got your T-shirt of, say, Team Router or Team Scrollser, you come and find one of either me or Richard or Chris or Joe, and we'll give you a ticket or whatever, or you'll pick up some prize or goodie bag or whatever with a product inside of it with reference to said team.
Yeah, so if
you'll get something to do with the router from Richard and something to do with the scroll saw from me.
Bingo. And you'll get scrap wood from me. No, I'll have both. I mean, because
this could be really skewed because router bits are worth a lot more than a scroll saw.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
I mean, what we've deliberately done, actually, Chad, is I've spoken to a router company here in the UK that I've got connections to, and I know Jamie's been.
Let's plug them. I mean, let's give the company some love because they're hooking us up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Both companies are also going to be at the show as well. They've both got stands. So I've been talking to Trend Routing in the UK. I know they're also available in the US, actually, or to a slightly lesser degree.
Yes, they are.
So we don't know exactly what they have put up for gifting to people. Basically, what I did is I approached them with the idea and said, what we'd like to do. What would you be prepared to give away? And I actually stipulated to them that we did not want lots of high value things. So they won't be giving away, a £400 router that's branded to Trend, because what we didn't want to do is specifically brand it to a company, because it's not Team Trend, it's Team Router, and Bosch make routers. Craftsman make routers, DeWalt make, loads of people make routers. So that's not, it's about including people, not excluding people.
Well, yeah, and we didn't want to give it away. We didn't want to give away one of those big routers to somebody that traveled from abroad that would have to carry it back through customs. Getting on an airplane with a power tool nowadays is not exactly the easiest TSA experience you're ever going to have.
Well, that's very clear. And also, even if you did take it back to the States, it'd be completely useless because you've only got
the
wrong shaped plug.
Oh, you have to buy an American adapter for it, yeah.
And 240 supply. So, we've tried to keep it as as kind of generic to routing and also to scroll sawing as we possibly can for everybody, because people are coming from all over potentially. So we don't know exactly what they are putting up, but it seemed more inclusive to say lots of smaller value generic router related things than can we have a 350 quid router for one person?
Yeah, it's bits.
I'm not 100% sure on the rules, but if you're on Team Router, does that include Team CNC Router?
You know what? We're thinking that Trend is probably, we don't know this for certain, as Richard just mentioned. I think Trend is going to be providing us with some bits. So as long as the bit will fit your router, then
I'm not sure. I genuinely don't know if they're going to put any router cutters / router bits in. I have a gut feeling it's going to be more the kind of accessory type things, because actually if they gave us a load of 1/4-inch router bits and you had a 1/2-inch router, or the other way around, potentially you'd be excluded. So I've tried to sort of kind of go down the accessory route. So if you have got a router, whatever we can get to give you will be relevant regardless of.
It could be, yeah. Maybe then they'll do it like a universal bushing set or something like that. I mean, that's possible, I guess.
Whatever we can kind of get them to put up, because at the end of the day, they're putting their hand in their pocket for our benefit. So whatever generosity they put forward is going to be better than them saying, actually, we're not in a position to do that. So.
Well, it's a trade-off. We're giving them some love. They're giving us some love, and the people who get involved with what we're doing get some love too. So it's a win all the way around. Jamie, did you want to talk about the company you're working with?
Yeah, I've gone ahead and contacted Record Power, who have kindly donated, or they said they're going to donate a various pack of blades. I think it's like a 36 pack of multiple different blades, scroll saw blades, which basically comes to the price of the shirt anyway. So you basically, if you buy a shirt, you're basically getting your money back on the shirt anyway.
Oh,
So
there you
yeah, that I mean that was nice of them. So obviously I was over the moon with that. They were talking about putting everyone that buys the Team Scroll Saw T-shirt into a prize draw to win a Scroll Saw, but we're still in talks about that at the moment. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be able to ship the Scroll Saw to the States. So
It'll be
it'd
limited.
be kind of limited to the UK only. Again, I don't think anyone in the States would want the Scroll Saw because of the plug situation again. But yeah, so yeah, Record Powers who I've been in contact with.
Well, scroll saw blades aren't cheap, so I mean, individually they are, but when you get 36 of them, that normally costs enough. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be the
Yeah.
cost of the T-shirt, so you get your money back from the
Yeah.
T-shirt anyway.
And I've actually used their blades at them blades as well, and they're not actually bad blades. They're actually really good blades.
Those are pinless blades, right? Those aren't.
Yeah, they're pinless blades.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they'd be pinless blades. So I don't know if Joe was still talking to the other company or not.
Yeah, we had a yellow tool company. That's all I'll say, because they're not on board yet. And we don't even know that they are going to be, but we were trying to hopefully get some accessories from them as well. So we'll see if that happens. But we've got actually the next 2 weeks that we do this podcast, we're going to be kind of Maker Central oriented, because next week we've got Nick Zametti on with us. He's going to talk to us and give us the update on where everything is with Maker Central itself, because Nick, in case you don't know, is one of the gentlemen that is working his rear end off putting this whole event together.
Yeah.
So he's going to sit down with us next week, and then I believe the week after that, we've got another podcast that we're going to be talking to on this show. They're going to come join us, and we're going to kind of talk about what we're trying to do together as far as a Friday night event to coordinate so that people have a place to gather the Friday evening before the show actually happens that Saturday. So the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking a lot about Maker Central. So if you're interested and you happen to be going to the event, then, hey, tune in when you can, either live or recorded, and we'll do the best that we can to tell you everything we know. Anyway.
And if not, tune in anyway.
Yeah. If not, then tune in and find out what you'll be missing. So you can cry in your beer like I did when everybody went to Atlanta and I was in Connecticut in 3 feet of friggin' snow.
So
I think it's going to be quite interesting from a UK perspective, because I think a lot of people feel that we sort of a bit left out, because we don't have the woodworking shows to the same sort of scale and grandeur that you guys do, and even if we did, we haven't necessarily got the personalities to the same scale and quantity that you guys have. It's just geography at the end of the day. So I
might debate that last point, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's how difficult it is, or how expensive, both of you, Chad and Chris, you are fully aware, no doubt, of the cost implications of coming over to the UK, and and the time, and these things add up, and it's not for everyone. Whereas when you've got a long drive and maybe an overnight stay, that's a more attainable trip, say, than a 6,000-mile flight. So I'm hoping.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Richard, because I have talked to people on Instagram and my YouTube channel who are right there in the UK, and they've said, "Oh, it's just so expensive," and I'm like, I'm flying across the pond, and that's expensive. And then add to that, a couple-hour drive. If this event was happening anywhere in Georgia or Florida or Alabama, 3 states, I would be there. North Carolina, even.
Yeah.
This is going to be historic, especially for the UK.
Yeah.
Especially considering how many people from not only the U.S., but there's people coming from Canada. There's people coming from the outskirts of Europe. I know Frank Schumandel's coming to that. Yep. So there are a lot of people coming from the Netherlands. They're coming from all over. And so if you're in the UK and you're going, that's just a far drive, well, then you're just being a wimp, because you know what? You don't know the hassle that we have to go through, going through international friggin' customs, getting on a plane, flying there, the cost of flying there, the cost of staying at the hotel. Come on. Give me a break. Yeah, put some gas in your car and friggin' drive up and say hello.
I know everybody's financial situation is different, but if there is anything in you that says I should go, You should
No.
figure out a way. Sell something, buy something, resell
Got
it.
two
Whatever you
kidneys.
have to do.
Yeah.
The kids, the wife, whoever you need to sell, get rid of them. You don't need them. You need to be a Maker Central. It will be a lot more fun.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
without doubt.
I'm also thinking, and my geography is not good, but Connecticut being on the sort of the eastern side of the state, you've got a similar distance actually from where you are, Chris, to the UK.
Uh-huh.
It would be the same situation to get from where you are to the Bay Area. Say you wanted to go to
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Maker Faire. That's kind of you're sort of sitting in the middle of both those two extremes. So
Yeah, actually, you know what? My flight to the UK may actually be shorter.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Might actually be shorter, and I'm laughing because Moonshine Metal Works says, "Hey, what's a bit of money compared to being able to have a little cuddle with Chad?" So yeah,
Hello.
go cuddle up to the big bear.
Absolutely. The big man's coming to us.
I think a lot of people are going to say the same thing to Chris and I. You're not as tall as I thought you would be.
Yeah, well, no, actually, people look at me and go, "Well, you're taller than I thought you were," because I'm a pretty short guy. But I'm not as short as people think I am.
Steve from Moonshine Metal Works says, "What's a bit of money compared to being able to have a cuddle with Chad?"
That's what I just said.
Keep up, Jamie.
I know.
That's a replay courtesy of Jamie's page.
Oh, that's coming up later.
Oh, okay.
And you said it wrong. It's Jamie's page.
Yeah, well, I'm not singing. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And, yeah, I'm bringing Sam Adams for everyone. No, I'm not. Moonshine Metal Works. I don't have that kind of money.
So you guys, I mean, I don't even know when you're actually arriving, and presumably you're coming in on the Friday morning or the Thursday beforehand or Saturday morning.
I think we're flying in. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump in.
I was going to say, I'm personally flying in on Tuesday, so I'll be there Wednesday morning in London. And then I don't know what we're going to do in London, but probably a couple days there. And then we'll ride the train up on Friday. So we're spending the night Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll head back to London Monday and then fly out Tuesday. And that actually worked out. We stayed one day longer than we had intended. And that dropped our ticket prices by $400.
How do these airlines work these sums out? It's bizarre, isn't it? Like,
I have no idea. It's like the longer you go, they figure that they don't have you over a barrel. Because if you do it for like a 3-day trip, they go, "Oh, this guy's on a business trip. He has to come. We're going to charge him through the roof." But if you go, I may stay for a week, they go, "Oh, this guy's just vacationing. Whatever. We can't really hit him with hard numbers." But I'm kind of doing sort of the same thing, Chad. I think because I'm flying with Mark Christopher, and I'm first flying from Connecticut to Canada to his house.
Boy, is he going to be tired.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm staying with him a couple days, and then he and I believe, are flying out on Thursday night, our time, which is going to put us in London Friday morning, and then we're going directly from the airport onto the train and up to Birmingham. So we should be there sometime mid-morning, I would assume, on Friday.
So one of the biggest things that people were kind of complaining about was the price, obviously. And one of the reasons being was they were looking at flights from the States direct to Birmingham.
Yes.
And you're taking it well over $1,000, the price.
It was cheaper flying into Heathrow. It really was.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
obviously
the
that's what they were supposed to do, was go to Heathrow, then up via train or coach.
Well, the biggest issue for us was not the cost to Birmingham, because it wasn't really much difference. It was the fact that there's no direct flights from Atlanta, which is crazy, but London was a straight flight, so like 8.5 hours. Now, I did have the option of even going cheaper if I was willing to go through Turkey, Istanbul.
Good luck.
I'll pass. I've spent enough time in the Middle East. I don't want to go back.
And that's a long flight too. I mean, that's kind of a bit of a detour, don't you think, from Atlanta to Turkey to the UK?
It added like
back
4 or 5 hours to the flight. So
yeah, no.
That was, it was like almost adding a full day of travel.
What's the first things you're looking forward to the most, like food-wise, when you get over here?
Kinder eggs.
No, any kind of pub food. If you go to a pub and have some pub food, I mean, the best food I had when I went, and I don't know how it compares to England, but when I was in Ireland, I've been to Ireland twice, and the best food I had in Ireland, I've eaten at a 5-star restaurant, and I ate at a pub, and I had the best food at the pub. I mean, it's like, I want to have some pub food.
Well, if Andy Berkey was coming, tacos. I think he and I would have the same answer. No, bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah,
proper bacon.
What you've
got to have this proper bacon that I've been hearing about for over a year.
You've got to stop at like some greasy spoon cafe on the M1 or the motorway, not a service station, but just like where all the lorry drivers stop.
Right.
The really rough, the thing where you think it could kick off at any moment, and I'm going to get stabbed if I drop like my toast or something like that. Where you have to go to the loo as a pack of about 4, if not you're scared for your life, because they're the places that have the best food. And it sounds really bizarre, but there's a reason that the truckers stop there.
No, the truckers always know where the good food is. They always do.
Exactly.
Who wants to describe scrumpy to me? Apparently, it'll put hair on your teeth.
It's alcohol.
What? Yeah, scrumpy's cider.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I understand why it would put hair on your teeth. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But if you want proper scrumpy, you've got to go to the West Country, which is like completely not where you're going.
Apparently, Steve has got us hooked up on that.
Nice.
Steve Twydell.
No, Moonshine Metalworks. From Fools with Tools.
Yes. But isn't he from that part of the world?
What?
Where are you from, Steve? Is it Bristol, I think, isn't he?
I'm just waiting for him to say.
No, I think because he's in the chat, isn't he?
Yes.
So he's listening to me, so he can type a response. Steve, are you from Bristol?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. Yes.
Yeah, Bristol.
Yes, Bristol. Get yourself down the Corrie tap. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have some exhibition. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm looking forward to Richard introducing me to what he considers proper beer, because according to Richard, the American beer is piss, and what they drink in England is far better. So I'm willing to let him prove that to me. So I'm looking to have Richard take me out.
I'd like to know what Richard considers proper beer.
Do you know what? Actually, I would. Good time for me to confess that I'm not a massive drinker of alcohol.
So you FOS all the time.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably no point in me trying to drag it out and blag it any longer, because when we're out at Maker Central, I won't be drinking heavily.
You know, a glass of rosé.
I'll probably
a glass of rosé with a pinky out. How are you?
I've probably drunk more wine this year than I have anything else, to be honest, and that's not a lot. But no, like proper beers, like not lager, because whenever I've been to the States previously, we've always had lager, and that would have been like is it Miller's? And
no, that's I guess Miller is kind of a lager, but Miller's. They say it's a lager, but it's not really a heavy-bodied lager. It's more of a pilsner, because Budweiser is a pilsner.
Yeah, so things like Bud and Miller, and what's the other one? Is it Coolers?
Yeah, well, you can't judge
one because they just like, well, what was provided off the back of a Humvee, as like dozen slabs, and just drink this.
No, you need to get into
those are the good old days.
Yeah, you need to get into the craft beer scene. If you want some good beer, the craft beer scene, at least, and in America, is where all the flavor and all the taste goes. And if you really want to get a good beer, from what I understand, I've never been, I'm taking this from my older brother who was in the military and he was stationed there for a while, is if you want to get good beer, go to Belgium, because those boys apparently know how to brew some beer. I was like, wow, okay.
I quite like Amstel. That's Belgian, but I don't drink much.
Do I need to bring you one of these?
Oh, that wouldn't suck.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that would not suck.
Double wall insulated stemless wine glass.
Right, we need to talk after the show, because Kat has been badgering me for a hippie noodle. Oh, that looks awesome. That's a
little sneak preview of what might be coming.
Do you know what? If you're if you're listening to the audio version of this, you need to get yourself on YouTube because that looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah, you need to go back 3 days ago and watch us live.
Yeah, because Joe might edit that out, mightn't he?
Yeah, well, he might.
Well, another reason to get to Make Essential. So I have had a limited experience with to get back to the booze thing. Like the small sort of breweries, the kind of independent. They don't do the sort of place you can just rock up and buy a keg and disappear off. Where you go straight to the brewery rather than to the pub and get it by the glass. Mm-hmm. And there's a place, assuming it's still there, near where my folks live. So you never know. I might.
No, Steve Twydell was out in the chat, and a couple others have mentioned the same thing, and I happen to be in 100% agreement with them. When it comes down to it, and you want to ask me what my favorite beer to drink actually is, there's no better beer in my book, personally, than Guinness Stout. If you're gonna have a beer, then have a Guinness. I mean, I'm telling you that is the. I don't want to swear because Joe will edit me out, but that is that's the shizzle my nizzle. I'm sorry.
You know what? Speaking of Steve Twydell and Guinness, Steve Twydell single-handedly drunk the Guinness from the blooming Hilton in Coventry at UKIS last year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Way to go, Steve.
And then got up, and I think he went to bed at about 5 o'clock in the morning. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he was up and turning, doing a demo.
It wasn't meant to be an off-center turning, but that's how it turned out.
It was actually an off-center turner.
That's what I mean.
That's where he first came up with the banana.
Yeah.
Completely by accident.
It was supposed to be a new handle for his gouge, but
Tipsy boy turn-ins.
You know what we ought to do? Steve, I don't know if you're out there and if you're available, but Jamie, send Steve a link. Let's get him in here. I'd like to speak with Steve just because I think I love Steve. He's funny. He doesn't take anybody's shizzle.
And he doesn't take too much seriously as well, which kind of probably fortunate.
So Steve, if you're available, Steve, Jamie's going to send you a link. If it's not going to work for you, then that's fine. But we'd love to have you on and join into this conversation because I'm sure it would go sideways in a hurry.
Help!
We need somebody.
So
you're coming over on the Tuesday, Chad?
We're actually leaving here Tuesday. We'll actually land at, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning in London.
Right. And then you're staying in London, presumably a hotel somewhere, or
just for a couple nights. Yeah.
Have you got anything planned in terms of like meets and greets, or are you just going to keep your head down and go to the show?
I would really love to meet people all the way up to the show. I'd love to see any shops that people have. I'm going to be documenting the entire trip, so the more content and B-roll that I have, the better. In addition to the fact that I just like to meet people that I've talked to or seen online or interacted with. So
I've never been to the UK, and it's been on my it's I'm not joking about this. It's been a real bucket list of mine since I was a kid. It's like before I died, I was going to go to England. And my number one was Ireland because that's where my family kind of sort of hails from. But I mean, I do have roots in England as well. But I am, and Richard knows this, and I think Jamie probably is aware of it too. I'm a huge World War II buff, history buff. And so much went on in England during World War II. There are so many places I want to go see. I mean, include Bletchley Park. I mean, there are so many historic areas that involve that conflict that are based in England that I would love to go visit that I'm just not going to have time for. We get done with Maker Central. We're staying there on, like you, Chad. We're spending the night on Sunday as well after the show, and then Monday, I believe we're driving back down to London, and we're going to be spending 4 or 5 days actually in London. So, we have a chance to go out and do some things from that area, but I'm going to be limited to short day trips kind of thing. So, and I don't know
The thing is, everything is accessible by the underground train. So if you get yourself what's called an Oyster card and just keep topping it up, this is easy as anything. I think they're about £5 or something like that to buy the Oyster card, and you just keep topping it up, and it's easier than getting a ticket.
All right. Well, hey, PSA, because this was a question I had. Maybe anybody else who's going over there, maybe even Chad would like to know this. What is a good amount of poundage to have on you when you're going to be spending a week in England and you're on vacation? Like, let me ask you this question, and it's the important one. If I'm going to just hop into a local pub and order up a pint of whatever I feel like, what is that going to cost me?
You're probably looking about £4 a pint.
Okay, so I need at least 400 pounds. All right.
Per day.
How are you going to carry all that?
400 pounds. I know. I'm just trying to figure out how much money I need to convert from US to English. I mean, to the English pound, and so that I know that I have a proper amount of money on me, and I'm not doing too much, but I'm not doing too little, to where I'm on the streets begging for, and selling pencils. So I'm trying to figure out what would be a proper amount. When you came to the U.S., Jamie, how much money did you bring with you?
I think I had about $800 or something like that.
Which is probably in the neighborhood of what?
$600.
600 pound, something like that, maybe?
About that, yeah.
Okay.
That seems reasonable. I don't know what the exchange rate is.
That didn't even cover his tattoo.
No.
I mean, we're not completely back in the medieval times. I mean, if you've got contactless, because you in the States you use
contactless is everywhere over here.
But if you've got Apple Pay or Android Pay or contactless on your credit card and things like that, then you can use all that, and that tends to be a lot easier than because we don't have the put your card in and sign anymore. At all. We'll chip and pin or contactless. So if you've got a contactless card or you've got Apple Pay or something like that, then feel free to bring it and bring your money to our country and spend it.
One side note: Sean is in the SE Woodworks in the thing. He said a beer in a pub in London is a lot more. So $10 or £10 versus £4.
Well, then I think I'll just
high rent district.
And let me ask you a question, because in the U.S. it's kind of squirrely, because in some places it's regionally different. Like here in Connecticut, where I live, I can't go into a convenience store and buy beer. They won't allow you to sell it. I can only buy beer in two places, either a grocery store or a liquor store. In the UK, if I want to go in and buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack of something, where would I have to go?
Any kind of grocery store, high street, small mini mart type place, big supermarkets. They've even got I guess the equivalent of a liquor store where they just sell wine and booze. Yeah, you can pick it up anywhere. Petrol stations sell it.
All right, well, cool. Then I can go. I hate to make it sound like my total priority in England is to go and buy alcohol, but
I'm going on a 2-week drinking binge to England.
But I mean, guys, let's be honest. I happen to love my beer, and I don't drink soda, and I don't drink water. That's just kind of my lifestyle. That's what I do. I don't get drunk. That's just what I drink. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. I'm on my phone. Is it okay?
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You're a big boy.
You look like you got a sawdust all over you. Did we interrupt you? Were you in the middle of doing something?
Yeah, I'm making a bowl.
I can't believe this shop. It looks great.
Thank you.
It does look great. Hey, Steve, when are you headed up to Maker Center? What's your schedule, your itinerary?
I'm heading on the Thursday. So that's the 4th, is it? Yeah, on Thursday. I'm driving, so I'm going over on the ferry. So I've got a 3-hour drive from my house to Dublin, and then it's 3 hours across on the water, and then I've got about a 5-hour drive from Wales to Birmingham.
Right. You're gonna be demoing at Maker Central, aren't you? Aren't you going to be in somebody's booth doing some demonstrations? Or are you going to be are you going to be on stage?
Yeah, I'm on Yorkshire Grit Stand for Glyn. and I'm demonstrating Yorkshire Grit throughout the whole weekend. But I'm also doing the Great British Build Off as well. I'm hosting a couple of those throughout the weekend as well.
Also, is that being put on by the show, or is that being put on by an individual, or who's putting those?
It's being put on by the show. So basically, what's going to happen is when the people arrive, when the punters arrive, they can sign up to do it, and it's going to be 2 teams of say 6 people going up against each other. And what you'll get a big box full of materials, paper, straws, all kinds of crafty materials, and you have a build off, and the person that can build the best thing in half an hour wins, and they win a goodie bag each. So.
Okay, if I go and if I enter, I want Make It Soph on my team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Sophie, if you're out there, let's get into this. All right.
And I'm also hoping to get 2 YouTube teams together as well. So if there's anybody that's interested in getting 2 YouTube teams together, and we're going to do a build off of a bridge. So basically what you do is you get 2 chairs and you put them about 2 or 3 feet apart, and you have to build a bridge with whatever materials you're given. You have to build a bridge from one chair to the other, and then 2 judges will add weight to the bridge once it's done, and the person whose bridge lasts the longest wins the prize.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's coming up with these ideas, but whoever's doing like the is that, yeah, but you're not organising the show, so somebody, that's a great idea. I'm not trying to take that away from you, Steve. But it's everything collectively. There's so much going on. It just blows my mind because everything you think, I think I've got it sort of worked out what's happening at this show, and then someone goes, but we've also got this. And it's like, oh my life.
Nick, I've been chatting to Nick and stuff kind of on a regular basis, and he's doing a brilliant job with his team. It's going to be an absolutely amazing show. It really is.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. It was great when we first had Nick on here, and when he had first introduced Maker Central, which was, how long ago was that, guys? That was like
right after the Atlanta Woodworking Show.
Yeah, it was. And he was on with us, and he goes, you know what? I looked around, and Atlanta was great, but then I thought to myself, we could do this better. And I went, you know what? If anybody can, this guy can, and he will. And it's like, you know what? And he has, apparently. This is going to, and I'm not going to, because I love the Atlanta Woodworking event just because, and I don't go there for the show, really. I go there for the people, to hang out and be, with people that I haven't met or make new friends, things of that nature. But this event is going to be outrageous. It's going to be crazy to see the international amount of people that are going to be in one place from different countries. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And all the different disciplines as well, because I think we get, it doesn't matter what your discipline or what your interested is or what the hobby is. I think people have a natural tendency to get sort of funneled into just that, woodwork or just metalwork or just paper crafting, and you get sort of tunnel vision. But Nick has deliberately pulled in. I mean, there's leather people there. I think there's an ice sculptor there as well. All these different peripheral disciplines, which
I think
are kind of underpinned by the same mentality, are going to be there. It's going to be wild.
I think it's going to be like a big 3D machine too, isn't there? Building models of people.
Really?
It's more of, how would I describe it to somebody in the States who's been to one of these? It's more of a
Maker Fair.
It's more like a maker fair, but it's much more universal than that. Because if you have ever attended a maker fair there, the maker fairs are very heavy on the electronics and the computer side of things that are going on in the maker world. It's very skewed toward that direction. But this has much more of a broad. Well, that will be there, I'm sure, as you've mentioned. But there's a much more broader appeal to this that Nick is putting together than a typical maker fair in the States would give you. So there's something for basically everybody, is what you're saying.
It's going to be
fun.
I
wonder if anybody will be distilling alcohol there.
Well, it's making.
Is Sterling going?
Yeah, somebody would just pick me up and put me in a pot in a kettle and boil me and go, "We're distilling him." That's the closest thing we got.
We've lost. I hope we haven't offended.
Yeah, I think
Steve.
his internet's probably dropped.
Pay your phone bill.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping Mr. Hackstrack's going to turn up with a tattoo machine. Because I've told him that he's got to personally tattoo his logo on my leg.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my life.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my friend that's a tattoo artist and said, why don't you approach Nick and then head down there with the trailer and just, there's bound to be guys that are drunk wanting tattoos. So go down there and you'd make a fortune putting tattoos on guys. And he said, the insurance for doing that is just through the roof. You can't do it because it has to be in a sterile environment and all that.
I thought that insurance was free in England.
Yeah.
I think the term is advised.
We have indoors. We have that sort of advice here in the United States too. It's just but you have to have the mentality that hey, if I don't get caught, it's probably not illegal. I mean,
don't worry about it. I wear a dust mask.
Dear, oh dear. So, have we got anything planned for have we done anything about planning Friday night before Maker Central?
We've talked about it, and we've
talked about it, Richard.
We're looking to find. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Steve. We're looking to find a local establishment that will handle the lot of us. And we had originally, I think, when I asked the question in our Facebook group, I counted 25 people that were like in.
How far does Nick live from there?
Miles away.
Yeah, but let's all party at Nick's house.
Let's all go to Nick's. Yeah, no, I don't think he'd appreciate that.
Joel Crawford had it at his house.
Well, I know, but
as long as we all get a go in the night 2000.
I can't make any promises.
Well, what we're trying to do, Chad, is find a local establishment that can host us that won't require us to drive, because I got a funny feeling some people won't be able to drive by the time the event is over. So it would be best to be within at least walking distance or at least Uber communication.
There's a lot of us spending money at that hotel. Do they have a ballroom that they'd loan us for the night?
I don't know.
That's always worth asking, actually. That's a good idea.
That's not a bad idea. We could always
live up the road.
We could always buy one keg for Steve, and then the rest of us could share whatever's left over.
One.
Don't they do them bars that you can hire out as well?
They do. I just don't know what their prices would be. We can make that inquiry, Chad. That's not a bad idea.
Or we could do like we did it at here in Atlanta. Just take over the hotel lobby. Usually, you get loud enough that anybody else leaves. That's
going to happen one way or another anyway. Actually, because I believe our plan is, Jamie, Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, it's somewhere on Sunday evening after the show is actually over, because right now is what time in the UK? It's like what? It's 9,
10, nearly 10:30.
10:30 at night. So the show is going to be long over with. We're going to be doing our this podcast live from the hotel lobby that Sunday evening after the show is concluded. So.
Yeah,
we're hoping to
train crash.
Well, that's the executive plan at the moment. Whether we can actually pull it off or not is the next question. So
how far is Walsall from Birmingham from the hotel?
It's not that far. I mean, I consider Walsall to be Birmingham, and we're in Birmingham, so it's there.
Okay,
but
I thought it was in Poland.
All we need is a big field and a beer tent.
You know what? I think Steve's right, and somebody there to fry fish or something, so we can have something to eat while we drink. I agree.
Yeah, it's the other side of Birmingham, actually. So
don't they have those cool double-decker buses? We can just take one of those everywhere.
We need to find a waffle house at 2:00 in the morning as well.
Well, we're going to want to provide food on Friday night, I think. So if we can go to an establishment that has food and drink for anybody, because not everybody drinks alcohol. I mean, look at Richard; he's a freaking teetotaler. So we might as well accommodate those people as well, Richard. I don't know. We're looking into it, but we're trying to work with, like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to work with another podcast so that we can kind of co-sponsor the thing. And
what podcast would that be, by chance?
Why? Okay,
top secret?
No, it's not. And they've confirmed that they want to do the show with us because we want to do a show with them in 2 weeks. But we just haven't nailed down the fact that we're going to be doing this together. But I'll tell you who we're talking to. If that's it, but I don't want to put any pressure on those guys because if they don't want to freaking do it, they don't have to. I mean, there's no harm, no foul. We're going to do something Friday night, whether they help us out or not. It's the Fools with Tools guys.
Right. So the only reason I asked is because Steve brought it up in the chat earlier.
Yeah. Well, no, we love those guys. I mean, I love every one of them.
He's definitely in, I think.
I love those guys. I mean, Al's, when we had Al on the show with us, I mean, that's one funny friggin' individual. I'm telling you, I would love to have Al back on, and it's a great podcast because of him and Steve, and you know, it's just anyway. So
Brett,
we just thought, yeah, Brett. Well, yeah, of course, Brett's cool.
Al said I was spiffing.
Yeah, yeah, he did. I met Brett when I was at Jimmy's. So yeah, I don't think I've met Steve personally, but I've talked with Al and I've talked with Brett. So you know, hey, it's cool. Let's get together and do something. You know, this is the community we share. You know, I'm not trying to become the #1 podcast and beat the Fools with Tools guys. Let's work together on this thing and put something together for the community if we can. So
I've been binge listening to Fools with Tools actually the last few days, and hopefully. Al had mentioned to Steve about the whole scouts and making with scouts and stuff like that, but I suspect he probably hasn't. So
awesome.
we need to get him on, see if I can chat to him about that, because no doubt Al's forgotten.
Yeah, well, Steve says he wants to do it. So awesome. That's great. That's great. So we're going to try to coordinate something, and we haven't even sat down with each other and talked about this yet. But you know, we're going to try to put something together on Friday night so people have a place that are getting there early before the show, so we can all get together on the Friday night beforehand. It would just be fun.
And presumably other nights as well, because they'll be, you know, I think they're going to be just sort of made up on the spot, though, aren't they? The Saturday night.
Well, you know,
Sunday night.
You know, Nick may want to put something together for the Saturday night because Saturday night is obviously going to be the bigger event out of all the events that go on that weekend as far as after show parties. Because a lot of people are probably going to be taking off, like especially folks based in UK will be leaving sometime in the early afternoon, you know, on Sunday, and they're just going to be going bye-bye and go back home. So, you know, but Saturday, there's going to be everybody who's going to the show is going to be there by Saturday, most likely. So I'd imagine Saturday night would be the big show. And Nick may want to have that night reserved for something he plans on doing. So let's leave that for him. We'll just do, you know, the pre. Let's
make it up as we go along.
Yeah, exactly.
You all staying in the Hilton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Hopefully we don't get thrown out.
I'm actually coming up there with Steve as well.
You're going up with Steve?
Yeah, Twydell.
So, so you're in Broadstairs?
Yeah, I'm meeting him in Luton.
Okay.
I'm driving from Wales to Luton, picking up JP, and then driving back to Birmingham because that's the kind of guy I am.
I was just about to say that is an absolutely batshit crazy route, and totally not the way to. No wonder it's 5 hours from Wales.
Whatever.
Because
Jamie's just smiling like a Cheshire cat over there. He's going.
I'm not going into the whole routes and the timing because obviously it takes 4 hours to get from Southampton. But you know,
we know how you drive.
Yeah. Well, this is true.
Half hour for normal people.
I'm just looking at Jamie sitting over there looking like the Cheshire cat. He's like, but I'm worth it.
Birmingham's only an hour and a half from Luton.
Yeah, because you go straight up the M1, M6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Guys, we got like 3 minutes left. I mean, we've actually killed this hour pretty quickly. I'm amazed at that.
So much going on.
And you know what? It's going to continue to be. It's going to be a lot of talk and a lot of things going on. There's probably updates galore that we can do from the weeks ahead. And we'll try to stay on top of it the best we can. But I think that we should probably wrap it up today. Steve, thanks for jumping in with us. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Oh man,
you've got much better connection this time around. Have you changed to a computer now, or?
Yeah, I've got a new internet connection here in my
workshop.
Big workshop. This isn't the shed. This is the cottage workshop. So,
proper cottage industry now. Because before, when you were on your phone, I wasn't sure whether it was my connection or yours, but it was a little bit jittery. That was all. But,
it's all been. I've managed to get it all upgraded so I can connect the phone to the Wi-Fi and everything here, so it's all good.
He's big time.
Absolutely, I was going to say big time YouTuber now. With all the...
Yep. Yeah, right.
Sponsored everything.
Yeah. Is that a little tiara you're wearing, or is it just a small crown?
I'm a lucky boy. Let's just put it that way.
Well deserved, very well deserved, though, I have to say. So, what are you actually working on currently? Because I keep seeing photographs of just tools.
I'll give you a sneak preview. Hold on a second.
Look at this little bowl.
Is that? Oh, this tripod's seen better days.
I can see it.
That bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put it off centered, so I'm putting some detail on the side.
Nice.
Nice. Ah.
Why do you have an inflatable doll in the background?
Well, doesn't everybody?
To ask.
Doesn't everybody know?
Is it unisex, or I'm just curious?
No, just sex.
Joe's going to have fun with this edit.
You miss a day, you missed a lot.
It doesn't. It's equipped with a hole that doesn't deflate. Okay, I'm great. Let's move on.
That dummy is the result of a very failed series that I was going to do on my channel. It was going to be a crash test dummy, and I was going to set him up in front of the lathe and do some stupid things with the lathe and let him take the impact, but he wouldn't do as I told him, so I ended up kicking the bejesus out of him and throwing him up in the corner, and now he's my business card holder.
I'm not going to ask you where you put the cards.
Is that a euphemism?
Chad, what about you, man?
Let's see. I just finished up a big job for potentially Maker Central. Got that shipped out last week, and let's see. I got a couple of other big laser jobs. I'm actually meeting with a friend of mine to go over some Fusion 360 for a video. I'm in the process of doing a collab with Pat Lapp. So I got emails and texts coming in like crazy this weekend. It's been a busy weekend.
Nothing wrong with being busy.
Absolutely. I mean, I was just going to say the same thing.
I just got a quick question. Is this where we shout out whatever channel or?
Well, we're probably going to forego the shout outs for today, only because we have to have time for Jamie's page. How was that?
All right, well, since we're not doing shout outs, I'll just mention that I am on episode 17 of the Making Time podcast, which should come out this week.
Awesome.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Jamie, ball's in your court.
Jamie's page.
And on Jamie's page this week, there is a challenge going on. It's over on the a channel called Lemongrass Picker, all one word. And over there, they've got something going on called the Lemongrass Build Off 2018. So if you want to go over there and partake, the rules are as follows. Rule number 1, nails have to be the primary joinery method. Glue is allowed. Only joints allowed are dados and lap joints. Anything involving dovetails or any other kind is not allowed. Use any kind of wood that you want. Your project must include a single drawer. And number 6, make whatever you want and be creative. And the deadline for this is April 28th, 2018. And international entries are welcome.
Awesome.
Oh no.
That could go in a lot of different directions. Awesome challenge. Cool. So and
they're giving us some pretty good prizes as well.
And that's the YouTube channel called Lemongrass Picker, all one word, right?
Yeah, Lemongrass Picker.
All right,
Lemongrass Picker.
There you go.
And there you have it.
I like the way they sort of kept it fairly simple in terms of technicality rather than a simple idea. If that makes sense, it's got to be nailed together. Is essentially the thing that's literally anyone can do that. I like that. That's a good idea.
I love it. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it. I mean, next week, look forward to Nick Zametti. We're going to have him on. We're going to talk about what he wants to announce regarding Maker Central. We'll get into what he's up to and what Charlie the Maker's doing too, I assume. But that should be a fun week. That should be a fun show.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, if Charlie's on as well, if we have a word with Nick beforehand, maybe get Charlie in to talk about something that's happening on his channel.
There you go.
Fun. Yeah, just an idea. Just popped into my head. I'll let it pop out again now.
You're so clever.
Not really. Not even slightly. I think it's probably the answer.
You're just going to need to lie down now.
I will. I would definitely need to lie down. So
Not clever, just erected.
excellent. So Jamie's going to make sure that the competition is down in the show notes, description, and all those other places. Don't forget, if you're in two minds or undecided about a T-shirt, we don't get anything from it. You will if you can make it and have a T-shirt. Wear the T-shirt and you'll get some free stuff as well. It's all meant to be in jest and fun and lightheartedness. So that's the idea of that one.
All links to the T-shirt will be over on the Makers International Facebook page or on the website at makersinternationalpodcast.com/T-shirts.
Cool.
And if that sounds confusing, they're in the description below as you're looking at this right now.
Yeah, it has to be simple, otherwise we wouldn't be able to remember it. So if nothing else, it would be on the website. Jamie, actually, while I think about it, have you got something to mention about the stickers? Have you still got the link where people can get a discount on stickers?
I can get it. Yeah, I'll post it over on the Facebook page. Basically, what's happened is we've got a link for people that can get £20 off at the checkout price for their stickers. So if you're going to Maker Central, then you can pick up a £20 off your checkout price for the stickers. So, and there's a wide range of different kinds that you can get. So
there you go. So if you're looking to pick up some stickers to distribute when you're out at Maker Central, there you go. Save some money.
Yeah, I got mine through them actually, and they are really nice. Really nice. So yeah, I can vouch for those. Kushti, unfortunately, Joe, you weren't here to rein us in when needed, so we've gone 6 minutes over, which is your problem now, not ours. So thanks to everyone for listening. If you are still listening, we'll try and have a show slightly more organised than the previous one next week, but don't hold your breath. And until then, you all take care.
Have a great week, everybody.
Take it easy, everyone.